grandchildren when they ask you, what did you do that day? Will you say I was sitting on the sidelines? Come on. Science, I think, it's fair to say, is under attack in many ways at the moment. And the question is, what is the role for us as science journalists? This is the official website of the EPA, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and if you go looking for their main climate change page today, you will get this message basically saying they're updating a website to reflect the EPA's priorities under Donald Trump. Climate change is not a priority, so we don't know whether there will be anything on climate change on that page. And I don't know whether you know, but the President of the United States is very great storyteller on Twitter. He has mastered the art of the very short story. This is one example. Healthy young child goes to doctor, gets pumped with massive shot of many vaccines, doesn't feel good and changes. Autism. Many such cases. When I look at my Twitter feed every morning, there's one sentence that I read more often now than I've ever read it before, and I think that is, this is not normal. Many people keep writing, this is not normal. Well, if this is not normal, the question for us is, can we still do our job as normal? Can we still do normal science journalism? Or do we have to change in some ways? These are the kind of questions that we want to ask you, that we want to face. And you're going to have to make up your mind about this and take a position.
So we're taking our cues from, I'm pretty sure you've seen this picture before. It's the British House of Commons. It's kind of weird. We are a Dutch guy and a German guy talking about the British House of Commons in the US about Donald Trump. So this is a very globalized situation. There's a room here, it's 3.19 meters, not meters, not feet, and that's the length of 2 swords. So in the past, when parliamentarians had a sword, they couldn't touch each other with each other's swords. So they were really fighting like hell over the new legislation. So this is what it's supposed to look like at the end. Has the Trump age caused you to do anything differently than you did before? And that's basically in your job. So please go ahead. And at this point in time, you're still welcome to join.
Says Trump has changed something on this side.
Well, actually, I'm working for Science Museum, and the basics fundamentals have not changed. Well, we defined our strategy recently. We emphasized that we based everything on facts. We didn't write that before. We thought that it's, we should be explicit about it. Okay, I will.
All stories on wildfires and storms should also highlight climate change. Is this something that everybody can get behind? If you think you agree they should, then this is the side for you.
For me, the word all is why I'm sitting over here, because you can do a human interest story about people who are suffering from the results of these events. Also, there are wildfires that are caused by things that aren't to do with climate change, so I think it's overkill to...
Just because something, a wildfire starts with a match, doesn't mean it wasn't exacerbated by climate change. Climate change has fundamentally changed the playing field upon which all of this is happening. And I think that's why it does deserve to be mentioned as often as possible.
There is a lot of activist organizations who will automatically link the storms to climate change. Also, you have activists who ask scientists to do the same. You have also activists who ask journalists to do the same. So that is why we all have to touch upon climate change when we write about storms, to find out whether it's actually relevant or not.
As journalists, I think we have lots of useful purposes, but saving the planet is not one of them. We are not here to campaign, we are here to be impartial and to inform the public. And as soon as we start campaigning, then we lose all credibility. We can't, the worst thing that anyone can do to prevent climate change is to overstate the argument.
That just because something can be perceived as political, that you would change the way you cover something. If there is scientific consensus that the changes we're seeing are caused by climate change, isn't it irresponsible, even as an informer of information, to not mention it?
Another motion. Science journalists should focus more on scientific consensus. So this is scientific consensus versus stories about, dissenting voices, stories about debate in science, stories about, open question. Should we write more about things that are already settled? All of these questions are, of course, questions of degree, I know. But the question is, wherever you think we are now, should we focus more on scientific consensus?
I'm a science writer, and I've also worked on the issue of evolution in public schools. And in that case, and in many cases, it's really important not to give time to a side that is just making things up. Okay? And I think that you should focus on new results. That means you have stories to write, but that doesn't necessitate giving equal time to other sides that are just there in sometimes stated specific opposition to scientific consensus.
I don't see my job as winning people over to my philosophy. The reason I'm in science writing is because science itself is the way we learn about the world, and it's that learning that I like to impart to my readers. What they make of it is their business.
So yesterday, John Holdren went at slide through slide, giving us the scientific consensus on climate change and on what should be done about it. And one of my good friends was sitting next to me saying, why is he doing this? We all know this. This audience all knows this. Again and again, I hear people saying, well, there's a debate about this, there's a debate about that. You're good journalists. But I do want to remind ourselves that there are some things where there is a consensus.
Science is it's a human pursuit, and you can't understand the findings without understanding the scientific method behind it. So if you're talking about something like climate change, where it's like 1% versus 99%, that doesn't mean you should give equal weight to both sides. I probably wouldn't mention the 1%. But if I were to mention the 1%, I would explain the context and say, this person is against the other 99%.
In some cases, you have to point out that there is, say, a movement against climate change and people saying that climate change isn't real, but only in the context of a political decision, not a scientific consensus.
Scientific consensus is given. The more interesting stories are ones that are right or might be right. The people that challenge the scientific consensus the most, in a sensible way, are scientists themselves. And that's how you get new science. And that's what we as science reporters should be doing. Our jobs are to challenge scientific information, not to simply trot out what most of the people say about science.
You know, if we use phrases like scientific consensus, yes, people's eyes are going to glaze over and they may or may not, be interested at all. But the way we transmit the beauty of science is through good storytelling. And if the wording matches the scientific consensus, then it's the right wording.
So, next motion.
Science journalists work to rebuild people's trust in science. Science are all the time we were doing stories on how science enlighten our political decisions.
In terms of the diagnosis, do you think there is a lack of trust in science at the moment?
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
Okay. You're just saying it's not our job, it's the job of the scientist.
All right. I'd like to help, but I feel it's more scientists' job.
Response over this?
I totally disagree. First of all, scientists are often pretty bad communicators, and so they do their job. Our job, in my opinion, is in part to translate their work so that people can understand it. And a lot of the mistrust in science doesn't have anything to do with bad science. It has to do with a complete misunderstanding of what science is, what the scientific method is, how scientists work, how they draw conclusions, the debates they have. And so I think as science journalists, we have to inform the public about what science is and how it works.
We also have to start calling out fake science. Wakefield, you should never write a study about vaccines without pointing out that Wakefield faked his science. You can't really put this on the scientists. I think journalists can play a very important role helping people understand what is fake science and why they shouldn't, propagate those kinds of beliefs.
How do you do that?
You write about it.
So we will make you move one more time. This is a very concrete question. Would you support your paper's campaign against fossil fuels? Say the paper you work for, the radio station.
We are under constant political attack as an organisation, as a public broadcaster. It is shocking what sort of attack we're under. If we did that as an organisation, we make ourselves very vulnerable as a journalistic enterprise and as a national public broadcaster. So absolutely I could not support a campaign like that, and nor would we do it.
When the Boston Globe went after the Catholic Church and pedophiles, they were on a campaign. They were on a campaign against child abuse. They were on a campaign against abuse of power. We know the science on climate change. We know the gravity of the situation. And I absolutely think that we're at a time where there is a moral situation at play.
I started thinking about whether I would support a newspaper's campaign against the asteroid, and I would. So, the asteroid.
Okay, that's the end.
I think all journalists should walk in the next march for science, assuming there is one.
Or most.
Clearly all of you like moving about, so maybe a march for science is a good idea. I'm not going to say anything about secret church.
I think many science journalists should march for science as part of the campaign to show and defend science.
Right, but my decision and my thoughts were, okay, how do I identify as a person and what are my values? And I decided that first I'm a woman, then I'm a journalist, then I write about science. And so for me, the Women's March was very important for me to go to because I'm a woman first. But in terms of the science march, I wouldn't go because I'm a journalist before I'm a scientist.
Here, here.
We need your help, right? As a scientist, I'm saying that. We need your help as journalists to help us pass the message. And sometimes when I saw so many crossing over from one place to another, you want to say the story behind the scenes. We as scientists criticize ourselves all the time. And when you make a lot of noise about those that are not in the consensus, you just showing distrust in us as scientists. When we say that as scientists that we need to pass on a message, that there is a problem that people do not listen to scientists, we need you to step by our side because we are in this fight together.
I think it was really cool to hear a really wide variety of opinions, even among the science journalism community and scientists. This is my first time being in the middle of that, and so I think they did a good job of setting that precedent that, like, we're not all going to agree, but people in this room all have at least some commonality. They love science in some form, and they are about spreading information and informing the public. I think the controversy comes in the way that we do that, and the way that we are supposed to be doing that in the public's best interest. The format of my article is like highlighting like cool quotes and cool things that happened during the debate. I'll try to get kind of at least a word for both sides, but also kind of highlighting that like sometimes there were 4 people on one side and sometimes there were 70 on one side. Every question there were people who had really solid points on both sides. So I will try to like give airtime to people who had really solid points. No one is completely unbiased, but I don't think you can be impartial without having an openness to change your mind.